Hello, beautiful sunshines. Welcome to Now That's Love.
With your favorite mother-daughter duo, Ashlyn and
Janae where you get to know thyself, love thyself, and become the best version of self.
Because the greatest love story that you are ever going to tell is the one you create with yourself every day.
Hello, lovies. I am solo today because Ashlyn's had little baby Zane. And today is a big day of what I've been shown for over 2.5 years to share with the world. And it's become and is going to expand across the world as a movement for all of y'all. It's not about Ashlyn and I, it's about a movement of spiritual fitness. And how did this even come about? And why even listen to this video? It's because it is the cornerstone, the rock, the sun of the universe for you. It is game changing. It's just your life changing power within, and as a collective for all of us to come together. It's just going to change the world. So spiritual fitness in meditation 2.5, 3 years ago, I was laying there asking for why I had this feeling so strongly of a golden heartstring and what was I meant to share. And it was immediately at that time I was ready to receive the word spiritual fitness. And I was like, wow, spiritual fitness, but I was in my very theta state and I just took it. At the same time of hearing it, I felt my phone vibrate next to me. So I got up out of my meditation. I looked at my phone. There was a YouTube video on there. And that just seems to be how I've been worked through my divine guides to have messages and understanding the synchronicities and how amazing this whole thing is that I clicked on because it felt like, watch this video. It's nothing I'm ever subscribed to. And I started to watch a woman that was being interviewed, Lisa Miller. She's a big, well-known therapist and researcher, scientific researcher. And she's being interviewed. In the middle of her interview, she was talking about depression, anxiety, working in facilities. Why is it on such a huge rise? And how many of us out there, seriously, can raise our hands that we've had those moments of depression or anxiety? And it's so on the rise, and it's double for women. So why is it? The rumination of the mind and different things. And so I'm listening to her in the middle of her YouTube video and an interview. She said, just like you work your muscles in the gym, you've got to work your spiritual muscles too. And it's called spiritual fitness. Ding, 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 synchronicities. So of course I continue to listen. I grab her book. And as I'm reading her book, there were so many things that she and I had in common, just different walks of life, but so many things. We both worked in a mental facility. I worked there for 3 years. There were things of all knowing that I didn't feel right. She didn't feel right. The massive dosing of drugs and different things like that. Schizophrenia, bipolar, all these different things that are going on in the world today. And the super drugs, right? So, and they have their place. I'm not saying that. But spiritual fitness, what is it? Why is spiritual fitness so profoundly important for our mental and emotional and physical health? Really, truly. Knowing this will change your life. And being part of this movement here, it's not about Ashlyn and I. I was just shown I was going to be the flower of the way. You look up on YouTube, spiritual fitness, there's nothing out there besides the fact that the Lisa Miller's group, the scientists, have now implemented their program into the military for PTSD, into the prison systems, and now they're going to be going into the school systems, because what has happened in our world is a detachment to something higher and greater than us. So many people have lost their faith in a so-called hashtag, that whatever the word, church, God. They've had their own experience with it not being a good situation. So we're going to eliminate that completely, because as I was shown this and I read the book and I was going to my clients talking to them about spiritual fitness, The second you hear spiritual fitness, you might have your hands up. You may have your own box of like, no, I'm sorry, I'm segregated, I'm superior, I'm this religion. I have trained and worked with all different religions. So I asked God, the higher source, and my higher self, how do I articulate this? How do I articulate this to the world? And I was instantly shown, tell them, take away all the church buildings. What are you connected to? What would you be doing on a daily basis if you really went within and you knew there was something greater than you? What would you do? Every one of you are going to have a different answer. I'm not here to say this is exactly what you should do and check off this box and mark this off. This is each one of our unique spiritual journey. And that's why I said it's a movement, because you're all going to have your own unique, beautiful super soul ideas. That's why we created Now That's Love. Know thyself, love thyself, and become the best version of yourself. It's for all of us to come as a collective together in spiritual fitness. It's the sun. It's the center of the universe. We are all that, just beams off of the sun, right? We're all spirits. That's why I'm wearing this shirt today. No segregation, no superiority, no inferiority. It's a bought-up system. We had to be taught it, right? We didn't come here believing any of that. We know that for sure. We see plenty of videos out there of little kids having no judgment on a kid of a different color, a different race, a different language. It's taught. We know this is the truth. We've got to question what we truly believe in and flow into and love on that feeling of expansive that's loving, kind, and peaceful. It's joyful. Spiritual fitness. How do we even do spiritual fitness? Well, we're all, like I said, going to have our own unique ideas. What Lisa Miller talks about is taking quiet moments in nature, journaling, meditating. That's what's out there for y'all. I was shown a 333 method, which was under beautifully for me and Ashlyn to share with you, that you've got to get to know yourself and let go of the parts and the beliefs that aren't part of you anymore, that cause sadness, cause anxiousness. And being okay with that, surrounding yourself with love and being part of that movement of love and self-care. So loving yourself so you can love others. And then just doing your best each day and realizing we all are. It might not seem like it because there's a lot of chaos and there's a lot of craziness going on right now. But no, it's part of the plan. We didn't all come down here and be like, okay, we're going down to Earth School and we're going to hang out at the beach together. It's going to be amazing. And then we're going to go the next month to the mountains and namaste it. We have to have that contrast to expand spiritually. So there can be gratitude in all things, even though when you're walking through certain things, it doesn't feel like it, right? I know that there's times as I've evolved so quickly spiritually and old parts had to die, the egoic death, it felt almost like hopeless and suicidal because my ego was dying and it was wanting to convince me it wasn't worth staying. But once that part of the version of belief system was gone, the expansion that happened spiritually was even more blissful. I saw things from a different perspective. And I had a little bit more on my tool belt to handle when things came another way. Maybe something similar, but I was going to totally handle it differently. And that's what we get with spiritual fitness. So what I've been doing personally, I'll share with you, is starting small. I started very small. So I started with little self-hypnosis, guided self-hypnosis, and that was pretty good. And meditations were amazing. And then my spirit was pulled into breath work. I just knew I would be teaching breath work and meditations. I literally wrote that in my journal. This isn't all knowing. I meant to teach this. It's connection with self. And having those moments with our minds being monkey minds all day long of actually, wow, I had 10 minutes of just focusing on my breath. And then feeling that expansion into the void and having answers given. You can become a little bit addicted to that in a good way. So finding what small little things for you, maybe it's laying right when you wake up and you think, I just want to list one thing I'm grateful for. Or you brush your teeth and you're like, I appreciate this about myself. You're sitting down to eat and you say a gratitude prayer for the food that you have in front of you. Whatever it is, walking in nature, hugging a tree, whatever speaks to you, dancing, singing, like sing in the car, bring that fun and peace back in to your life, not taking it so seriously, expanding that energy. That's what your soul really is all about, is joy, peace, and love. So when you're experiencing those emotions, that's spiritual fitness. You can even be working out. Like, so I work out or I do the treadmill. I will be listening to something that's very uplifting, or I'll just be listening to music and I'll say, hey, soul, what's up? Just wanting to check in. Well, I love you. And then I just start to have a little bit of a conversation. This has just been ever evolving for me. But as it has expanded for me, like on a daily basis, I crave it. Just like I started to crave physical fitness, I craved it because it started to show me you're centered around your sun. That's your focus, spiritual fitness. And then you have these parts of your life, let's say your body image, money and career, your purpose and what you're doing, things that you're fearful of, and your relationships. And you're just kind of bouncing in and out of all these different things. But when you have spiritual fitness be your center, that's where you're checking in and you're going down and getting the answers there. Then you know what to do in your relationships. You connect deeper in your relationships. You're more open to love. You expand there. You have this kind of all-knowing of what your body's wanting to eat. And you have this divine calling to just be connected with people in a deeper way and authentically yourself. Like you just know you can show up as yourself and you're just around souls that like you're accepting them too. Now something very profoundly happened to me, and I always think to people that when Ashlyn and I do these videos, that if you stay to listen to the end, if you learn to listen to the end, there's so much that comes from me, that comes on my heart, that says, okay, now you need to say this part. People need to hear this part. So this is a part that it's going to be heard. For those that hear this, this is meant for you. A couple of days ago, I've been doing longer breath works, and I actually have to slow down on them because so much spiritual downloads, so much spiritual messages come to me to share with the world that I have to integrate it because it just is so expansive. And this was shown for me, for myself, and then I was shown you need to share it with the world. And I have a lot of these, and so I've been writing them down, and this is one that's coming right now for me to share with you. So in the middle of my breath work, I was shown there's nothing wrong with you. That was from a higher source. The words so beautifully said, there's nothing wrong with you. That was my mother belief, my ground root, not seen belief that was creating some resistance on different areas in my life. And just right after that, with me being shown that, I was shown individuals that had hurt me. If you were to write a book and tell a story, there was quite a bit that happened there that I had to walk through. And I was shown, and there's nothing wrong with them. Now just breathe into that for yourself. The reason why it was being my mother belief was because of how, and the environment of somewhat I was raised in. Shown the critical, different controlling, different things. No shame on anything. And I'm not naming names of any sort. But all of us grow up in different things with school and home life that create some of our motherboard beliefs that maybe we don't see. So I'm sharing this now because you may think that something's wrong with you. There must be something wrong with me. I can't lose weight. There must be something wrong with me I can't get a relationship. There must be something wrong with me. I can't make enough money. There must be something wrong with me. Whatever it is for you, you can finish that sentence. But it's not the truth. It's a lie. It's not the truth. 100%, it's not the truth. When we think that in another, though, it feeds the energy for it to be ourselves, since we're all one. I'm not justifying or saying that anything that's ever been done to you or to I or to them, let's be real. At some point they suffered greatly as probably little children or different things, right? But to think that something's wrong with you is going to resist spiritual experiences of just evolving into your truest self, because it's not true, right? So in this breath work, at the very end, there were some extremely profound things that it was such fast information given to me. But in that process, I experienced complete and utter bliss. There was this releasal that happened that I wasn't even asking for or even asking to be shown any of this. But it was so much more important for me to understand that by continually saying conversations that something must be wrong with this person's brain or having this or that, whatever society is out there, there was oneness in the fact that it was going to come back. It's not spiritual bypassing in this. It was actually freeing myself from that energy and not having it come back and always be part of my paradigm and part of your paradigm. So sharing this with the world is, there's nothing wrong with you. I did a meditation on this. Right after I had that experience, I came home and did a meditation. Because the core beliefs for probably the entire world, there's two major core beliefs, is that I'm not enough and there's something wrong with me. That's what I was shown. So, and they're not true. They're blocks, they're mental blocks. And they make us keep on thinking we need to do more and more and more. We're just being, our soul's just asking us to keep on growing and evolving into our truest self. So I'm sharing that here as part of like the byproduct of spiritual fitness. You start to have this divine communication that happens with yourself and with higher source. And it's just this all knowing that I'm supposed to be here with Ashlyn on YouTube. It's an all knowing that this is a community, but it's a movement, spiritual fitness movement to cross the world, and how we've become so segregated and divided and by systems, and it's not true. That's why I'm wearing the shirt. I didn't believe it as a child. I will never believe it. I look at everybody as super souls. No matter what you're manifesting into your life, whether the world wants to think it's absolutely asinine or crazy and terrible, and deemed as that, but we're all still creators, right? And to the yin, to the yang. And so, not making anything right or wrong, it's just being the awareness and taking care of what you can do and spread and give in this world. That's where our focus can be, and expand the energy of change, of spiritually connecting, waking up every single day and knowing that you're enough, that there's nothing wrong with you. That is the message for today. Much love.